for Christmas, 1998, 22nd of December. I had to join my children in Kampala, and the bus we were traveling in was hit by a landmine which exploded. Well, I didn't realize it was a landmine. I thought we had just lost a tire. But the blast went with my right leg, and I never realized it was gone. And it happened in a very isolated part of the road, and it was during the years of insurgency very severely. And the rebels were everywhere. But what I can remember was trying to crawl out of the wreck of the vehicle into the bush with bullets firing. That's when I realized it was a rebel ambush. And from the time of the injury, it took me like an hour before the army came to our rescue. And they managed to pick some of the survivors, actually there were 4 of us, from the bush. And they put us underneath the army truck, because most of the soldiers had run off to chase the rebels. So it wasn't until after an hour again when they came back, and they were able to take us to the nearest health unit, which had almost nothing because it was already vandalized. I remember we were all put on the floor, no mattress. And the thing which scared me a lot was hearing the medical staff saying, "What are we going to do?" They had no bandages. They had almost nothing to attend to us. And one of the nurses started an effort of trying to dress my wounded leg. And they asked for bed sheets, which was ripped. And that's what they used. But before, she had to trim the hanging flesh. And it was just cut like that. No anesthesia. With all that pain, I was screaming and shouting. They said there's nothing they could do. So I endured it. It saved my life somehow. And it was just, I would say, divine intervention, because I bled for 9 hours and I never lost consciousness. And it was not until after 7, the accident happened at 10 in the morning. It was not until 7 in the evening that a cattle truck managed to pick some of the few injured and took us to St. Mary's Hospital in Lachor, northern Uganda. It's a mission hospital, and that's where I got all the best care, but it wasn't for free. But still, I was rushed straight away into the emergency care. The blood transfusion done, because I'd lost quite a lot of blood, and then surgery was done. And the next day, I woke up totally disabled in the intensive care unit for 2 nights. And my Christmas gift was being discharged from the intensive care unit. And that was my beginning of a life of disability, which still is sadly the case with most persons affected by disability caused by conflict. Now, that was my part, but I had a bigger story after that. I'm a mother, a single parent with 5 children. My 5 children had to be split up into 3 different homes. Nobody could take care of all the 5, so they were shared out. Okay, I'll take 1, I'll take 2, like that. And then by the time I came out of the hospital after 2 months, I had no home. I had no job. I was working for an organization dealing with formerly abducted children. It was a 2-year contract, but sadly I only signed for 3 months, because when I was told the location, I didn't want to sign a 2-year contract. And the accident happened just after I'd been in that district for 2 months. So the contract expired when I was in the hospital, no job. My children were in Kampala. They were thrown out of the house, no home. And the numerous friends I had disappeared into thin air. I only had my family. So that was my rude welcome into the world of disability.
It's just, think the one thing that people need to know about disability, you know, my own brother's son has cerebral palsy. So for the last 21 years, we've been in the disability world. But the thing that people forget, I think, in these kinds of injuries that happen, the impact on the family, as you mentioned, it's almost like, I think of it as almost a marble, a pebble. It's dropped in the water, and the waves just go wider and wider and wider. The number that we believe from hundreds of thousands injured just in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan for us is probably, you know, more than 1 million members of families. Significant, if not gigantically huge, bigger than that. But families are big. Nawaf, I know that were you in Lebanon during the invasion of 2006, the Israeli invasion? What did you see, and what was the care of those and the kinds of disabilities that came out of that invasion?
Well, what I would call organized chaos.
Is that possible?
Yeah, it has. But Lebanon, this is exactly Lebanon. The state was almost not there. Even though we have what High Council of Emergency, they had no idea what to do. They had no idea what to do. I don't think they thought of person with disability. Now, what happened is that civil society organization were the one to take charge of doing things. As far as the families are concerned, we have very interesting, good